You're listening to Music Tectonics.
Hey, coming to you from Cannes in France. This is Dmitri Vietze, your host of Music Tectonics at Midem. Midem's a music industry event that's been going on for well over 50 years, and we've got another interview with one of the Midemlab startup participants this year right here on this episode. You'll notice we're shooting out lots of episodes right now while we're at Midem, trying to bring you the news as fast as possible. So if you're too busy at Midem doing other stuff, or if you weren't able to make it to Cannes this year, you'll get a little sense of what's going on here. So check it out. I'm here with Adam Stark from Mi.Mu, who's a participant in the 2019 Midemlab competition. How you doing, Adam?
Really good, yeah.
Awesome. So let's just start with the basics. What does Mi.Mu do?
Sure. So we believe basically that existing controllers for creating music with computers are too limited. They're based on these 1980s paradigms of buttons and sliders and knobs, and you know, some of them are great and everything, but really they're a complete bottleneck. And inside music software, you've got this incredible world of synthesizers and audio effects, and that it's so far ahead of the interfaces. So what we've done, and we've created some musical gloves, and they let you use your gestures and your expressive body movements to control music, so that you have more powerful control over music, and you can communicate better to an audience when you perform.
Right. Great. That's a good explanation. It feels like Mi.Mu was on the front edge of a new wave of expressive instruments. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
I was at NAMM this year for the first time, where there's a trade floor of thousands, I think, of different gear companies, not just musical instruments, but microphones and amplifiers and fog machines, but quite a few instruments as well. And it was really fun to see kind of the innovative side of this. And I see you guys as sort of kind of like on the forefront of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we really wanted to create something that's different and gives people. Our goal is really new music and new artistic experiences, and to do that, we've had to create this this new tool. So it's not the tool first; it's the artistic experiences that we want to get out of it.
So I've seen Chagall, who works with Mi.Mu, but is an artist that performs with the Mi.Mu gloves as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Seen her perform at South by Southwest. So I know what it looks like and what it sounds like. How do you describe to someone who's never seen the Mi.Mu gloves used?
What you'll often see when someone performs with the gloves is just that they'll be able to maybe play chords by making postures, maybe like a fist or an open hand or a one finger point or a pinch. They'll then be able to maybe bring reverb up by lifting their hands or opening up their body, and then pull it all away again by pulling their hands in towards their body. And it's this kind of the thing I should add is that each artist creates their own relationship between their body movement, their gestures, and sound, so that part of the artistic output is the body movements themselves. So whenever you go and see someone use the gloves, it's different every time, and they'll be controlling music in their own personal way. So
it's interesting in a way. It brings dance or choreography into it in a way. I mean, not all performers are probably going to use Mi.Mu with dance specifically, but it is interesting to have that physical aspect of expression rather than being limited by standing at a mic stand or with other types of instruments, things like that. Yeah. So let's see. With Midemlab, I assume you're in the music creation and education category.
We're in the experiential technology.
Oh, experiential, right. Yeah, which is interesting because it's both. It is music creation, but it's also experiential.
Yeah.
So. You're probably good with that category, huh?
Yeah, we're happy with that. Yeah.
So tell us where the original idea came from for the gloves.
So the original idea for the Mi.Mu gloves came from a musician called Imogen Heap, who many of your listeners may know. So she, this was in about 2011, she had this idea that she really needed to, she's a real multi-instrumentalist, and she's got loads of different software that she's using and other instruments, and she really felt she didn't want to be running around the stage to all these things, and she wanted to really just have everything at her fingertips, and so she basically had this idea that she could do this using a pair of gloves, and so she began to pull a team of people together, which is now Mi.Mu, the company. And it really started as an arts project for Imogen, and we built these gloves for her, and she went and did these really, really experimental performances, and the technology was completely new, and it was really exciting at that time building this, and we would be changing things, and Imogen would be going on stage with those changes. It would be really, really kind of I don't like the phrase bleeding edge, but it feels kind of appropriate.
It was very fresh. You were hoping it was going to work as it got unfolded in those early days, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. So she really pioneered this from the beginning, taking this technology, and we made it as good as it is now by her like taking it out there and putting it through the paces of someone with her caliber and her level of professionality as a musician.
So I had heard about it a few years ago, and then I saw it at South by a couple of years ago. What has brought you to joining the Midemlab competition? Where has the evolution gone? What's Mi.Mu up to now?
So yeah, really over the past sort of 4 years or so, we've been taking Mi.Mu as an organization and really turning it from an arts project, which what it was originally, into a business. And that's, they're very different beasts, and that's involved us looking at what it is we do, how we structure things, how our team's structured, and so we've undergone quite a big transformation. We've also kept the principles that were kind of core to us when we started doing this, but we've allowed us now to shape it into what is now a business, and we've developed over the past 2 years this manufacturing process for the gloves, which didn't exist before. Everything was handmade. So we have a manufacturing process for the electronics, for the textiles, and all of these things have to get integrated together. So we now have whole new systems in place for being able to make large numbers of gloves for other people. So I think we're here now at Midem, and to come say we've now arrived, and the gloves are no longer something that you can just see on YouTube, but they're now available to everybody.
As of when?
As of 6 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so
you guys have a waiting list?
No, they're out there now. If you want a pair, then it's online.
What kind of units are shipping so far?
So we've basically we've brought in the first 50 extra users that we've had since in the last 6 weeks or so. We won't do too many more than that for now, and then we'll kind of open up again later this year.
Gotcha.
For another batch, but they're quite demanding objects, so we're going to do these in batches as we go.
Demanding to make.
They're demanding to make. They're demanding. We want to have a quite close relationship with the artists that are using them. Like, all of them have different ideas. Maybe they're a concert pianist or a saxophonist or a dancer or a beatboxer, and sitting down with someone, they're going, this is what I want to achieve with it. And we don't, they can learn it on their own, but it's so much more exciting really to kind of partner with all these different artists.
Will we get to see a new generation of Mi.Mu gloves artists putting up videos this year, 2019, or will it be 2020?
They'll get their gloves in August. And so hopefully, let's say towards the end of the year, you should see a whole new.
It'd be so cool to see diverse genres, different uses, different triggers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's always been the greatest thing, is seeing that each musician has a different personality, and they come to it with a new idea, and they put it on, and every couple of weeks I meet someone and they've got a completely different idea, and it just
is it too early to talk about some of the ideas you've seen implemented with the Mi.Mu gloves that demonstrate that, or
yeah, no.
What are some examples of some of the unexpected kind of musical uses, or just things that you were like, oh wow, that's so cool that we built this thing that this person is personalizing in this way?
So there's a musician called Ralf Schmidt, and he's based in Germany, and he uses Mi.Mu gloves with 2 back-to-back grand pianos and an augmented reality show, which is just really incredible. There's some videos of that on YouTube if you want to go and have a look at it.
Nice.
There's a beatboxer called Leah Sahin in Berlin.
How do you spell that?
Sahin.
Okay.
And she's been doing amazing stuff, controlling beatboxing and
like
voice.
The timbre of her voice and pitch control and stuff like that.
And we also had a couple of years ago, we had Ariana Grande use the gloves.
Oh right, I've seen those videos.
But it was a huge challenge for us, to make them work at that kind of a level, on an arena tour, day after day.
Can't get that one wrong, dude.
No, absolutely. So, yeah.
So I'm sure there've been a lot of challenges with that aspect, and probably challenges on the manufacturing side. Is the manufacturing side where the biggest challenges have been?
Sure. There's no useful company set up that manufactures sensors ready to be embedded in textiles. So we've got a fantastic textile partner who's based in Leicester in the UK. We've got a manufacturing partner doing the electronics and the sensors, and then we receive everything and integrate all of these things together.
So you guys are piecing it together yourselves.
Absolutely. This is like, and we'll build that, we test it, we make sure it works.
And then do you get a free training with this when you're an artist?
Yeah, I mean, we're really there to support artists when they're using it, and we're making documentation that's going to be fantastic, but also really we love sitting there and hearing how people are using it and if they're having problems with it and trying to help them through it. And
so at what point do you think there'll be 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 users?
I think it's going to be maybe 2 or 3 years. I think we need to go from, so as I said before, up until really 6 weeks ago, all the gloves were handmade. Like a musician would submit their hand measurements and they would be custom made for their hands, which is really cool, but also utterly unscalable. Yeah. And so we developed this manufacturing process, which now lets us do that in the, in let's say the sort of 50s to 100 at a time.
Right.
And we will now work at this rate, but we also have our eye on the future, which is going to involve complete new changes to that process as well, and to let us make gloves in even larger numbers. But it's taken us a while to get to where we are, and I think we've learned through that time. It's tread carefully, and doing something like making 5,000 pairs of gloves and sending them out there. I think we understand that we also want to have these relationships with the artists that we're bringing on board and making sure that we're supporting them, and so we'll do this in batches, test how it goes, and iterate from there. I think. Are
there other companies, models that you've watched as a kind of as an example of how to proceed with this type of product, or are you guys kind of just rolling your own as you go?
I guess a bit of both. I mean, I can think of both positive and negative examples. So, I mean, I won't mention
the negative ones by name.
I mean, I personally think Ableton are a really great company, and times I've gone and met the people working there and the way that they engage with people, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool. So, when you think about the music tech landscape, what are the things that you get most excited about?
So I think I'm definitely it is the new kind of creation tools coming in. I think because I feel like we're doing new hardware that's kind of expressive, but I think there's also new software tools that are coming in. And what I'd really like to see is, and I know some people are working on this, which is that building the kind of machine listening tools into software, so that you can have software that is able to understand music. So all of our audio software at the moment is basically we have to listen to a click track. It doesn't know what's going on really with the music, and this needs to end. We need to be able to say, play this sample when I come in at the third bar, on the G, and then it should just understand that. And so the kind of digital signal processing algorithms that have been developed in research to do this kind of chord recognition or beat tracking, this kind of stuff being built into live music performance, I think that's really exciting. There's actually a very good friend of mine, Andrew Ableton, who's built his BeatSeeker plugin starting to do this kind of thing for Ableton Live, and that's really cool.
That is very cool. Now I want to ask, I didn't start off by saying you're the managing director at Mi.Mu, is that right? How long have you been doing that?
5 years now, yeah.
So I want to know, where did you come from? Now that we hear how you're talking about these things and what your ideas and vision is, where did you start?
My background is in both music and computer science. So I have a PhD it's basically in using machine and computers in live performance and using machine learning in that context. And
you're the right guy for the job.
Yeah, I mean, but the gloves, I joined the gloves after it started, and so Imogen kind of brought me in at some point in about 2012. And
what were you doing right before that?
Before that, I was doing a mixture of installations and still doing a bit of research. I was at Queen Mary, University of London.
Nice.
And working as a researcher there. So yeah, I think for me, I've just always been interested in live music and how we can use technology to make that a more kind of interesting and interactive experience.
Awesome. Then I have a question for you. At Music Tectonics, we talk a lot about the shifts that are taking place beneath the surface. Mm-hmm. What are some of the rumblings from your kind of vantage point in this computer meets live innovation? What are some of the rumblings that you think the music industry needs to be thinking about?
I mean, I think it's really important to listen to artists and see, a lot of there's a lot of hackathons and interesting kind of development going on, and all over the world all the time, and people are building, because we've created this glove, but actually people have built things like gestural controllers and all kinds of things like this, loads and loads and loads. There's been what we've done is brought this to be an object that we can give to lots of people, and we've built a really engaging software component to it. But there's people out there building loads of new instruments all the time, and I think that actually looking into what some of these people are doing and the ways that they're doing it using open hardware and open source software, I think these are really exciting things.
So are there other conferences or competitions that Mi.Mu has been a part of? I'd be curious to know what your experience were, what you got out of them.
Yeah, we had 2 really fantastic trips to Berlin, to Ableton Loop, 2 years in a row, and but that's just such a fantastic place to be, because that entire conference festival is a conversation about music making, about artists and what it is to be an artist, whether it's about it's not just a load of tools and people trying to sell things. It's really talking about musicianship and mental health, or what it means to use this particular style in this particular culture, and conversations with some really fascinating engineers and producers and musicians, and it's just a really inspiring place to be. So I would recommend to anybody to go there.
A lot of fun.
Oh, it's incredible, and there's just great evenings out and performances. And
nice, cool. So what's the one thing that you could get out of the Midemlab experience that would have a great impact on Mi.Mu?
For us, it's really about collaboration. So we, as the gloves are cool, but they become something awesome when they meet someone with an idea. And so whether that's meeting artists or other companies who have ideas for collaboration, that kind of thing, that's what we're really looking for.
That's awesome, great. And have you had a chance to dig into what else is going on at Midemlab, other startups? Do you know any of them? Are you just meeting them for the first time? I know it's early days at Midem, but
I've come across Jouet, who are in the same session as us, and I think they're really interesting and definitely trying to solve some of the kind of similar problems that we're trying to tackle.
So how would you describe that keyboard that they have?
Yeah, so I've not actually had a go on it myself, so I don't want to misrepresent it, but from what I've seen of it, it looks like they're really trying to bring expression into music and music creation, and it seems to be really, really cool.
Yeah. I saw them at NAMM. I thought they did a demo for me. It was awesome. Another really great, very cool company with the expressive control as well. So I'll be excited to see that demo. See if they play it at the Midemlab. Awesome. Well, Adam, it's been so great to have you on the podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're just kicking off Midem, still getting into the groove at your first Midem, right?
Yeah, first one.
Yeah. What do you think of Cannes so
it's
far?
Beautiful, yeah. I think I just need to spend more time outside.
Yeah. Well, luckily, we're right in the U.S. pavilion. We've got a deck right outside. People are out there taking photos of the paragliders and yachts, and it's really beautiful. So, Adam, what's the best way for folks that want to find out more about Mi.Mu?
So go to mimugloves.com, so MIMU gloves.com, and there you can find pretty much everything about the gloves. There's videos, there's explainers of how they work, there's about the team, and also just drop us a line. And
is it possible to see? Is it possible to find events where Mi.Mu's being used, like performances?
Yeah, so if you follow our social media, then we're very often promoting some of the artists who are using them, in London and around the world.
Which platform is best for that?
Twitter's great, Instagram's good too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again, Adam. Great talking to you, and good luck at the Midemlab competition.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thanks so much for listening to Music Tectonics at Midem. It's a little mini-series we're doing, and we're just bringing you information about some of the music technology happenings at this music industry event. We are doing our own music industry event October 28th and 29th called Music Tectonics in Los Angeles. If you'd like to find out more information, go to musictectonics.com, sign up for our newsletter, and you'll also get a $50 discount code when you sign up. But if you're not going to do that, just hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service. We'll be back with more from Midem soon.
You're listening to Music Tectonics.